In the shadowed depths of Middle-earth, where ancient evils slumbered beneath mountains and forgotten caverns, the Balrogs, demonic servants of Morgoth, once held dominion over fire and terror. These fiery mare, corrupted by the Dark Lord in the First Age, were among the most fearsome beings to ever walk Arda. Yet, during the events of The Lord of the Rings, only one Balrog, the infamous Durin emerged to challenge the Fellowship in the mines of Moria. This raises a burning question. Where were the other Balrogs? Were they truly extinct, or did they lurk in the shadows, waiting for a call that never came? This tale weaves a speculative narrative, rooted in Tolkien's lore, to explore the fate of these ancient terrors during the Third Age. Long before the War of the Ring, in the cataclysmic War of Wrath that ended the First Age, Morgoth's dominion crumbled. The Vala, led by Eowyn, descended upon Middle-earth, shattering Angban's iron gates. Dragons fell from the skies, and the Balrogs, once numerous and mighty, faced annihilation. Tolkien's The Silmarillion suggests that most were destroyed, their fiery spirits extinguished in the war's fury. Yet, some survived, fleeing into the dark places of the world. Durin Spain, the Balrog of Moria, found refuge beneath Khazad-dûm, awakened centuries later by the greed of dwarves delving too deep. But what of the others? Were they merely hiding, or had their fates diverged in the millennia since Morgoth's defeat? In this tale, we imagine three surviving Balrogs, each bound by their own cursed existence, scattered across Middle-earth. Their names, whispered in ancient texts, are Volthor, the Ashen Flame, Cirith, the Shadow of Iron, and Morgul, the Ember of Despair. Unlike Durin Spain, whose awakening was accidental, these Balrogs chose silence, their purposes shrouded in mystery. Deep beneath the gray mountains, where the roots of the earth twisted into labyrinthine caverns, Volthor slumbered. Once a terror of Angband, he had been wounded grievously in the War of Wrath, his fiery essence dimmed by the spears of the Eldar. Unlike Durin Spain, Volthor did not seek dominion or destruction. His spirit, though corrupted, retained a flicker of the Maya he once was, a being of creation turned to ruin. In the Third Age, he lay dormant, his dreams filled with visions of Morgoth's return. The One Ring's reawakening stirred him faintly, its malice a distant echo of his master's will, but Volthor's wounds anchored him to the depths. He was no longer a warrior, but a relic, guarding a hoard of Morgoth's forgotten artifacts, waiting for a sign that never came. Volthor's cavern was a mausoleum of blackened stone, where molten rivers glowed faintly, illuminating relics of the First Age, shattered swords, blackened armor, and a single, cracked Silmaril casing, empty of its holy light. He sensed Sauron's rise, but dismissed it as a lesser evil, unworthy of his allegiance. The Balrog's pride kept him hidden, for he believed only Morgoth could command him. During the War of the Ring, as Frodo bore the ring toward Mount Doom, Volthor stirred briefly, his flames flickering in response to the ring's power. Yet he did not rise. His time, he believed, had passed, and so he remained, a shadow of a shadow, lost to the world. Far to the east, beyond the Sea of Run, in a desolate wasteland where the sun barely pierced the ash-choked sky, Cirith ruled a forgotten stronghold. Unlike Volthor's passive slumber, Cirith was active, but secretive. In the First Age, he had been Morgoth's enforcer, commanding legions of orcs with a whip of molten iron. After the War of Wrath, he fled to the farthest reaches of Middle-earth, carving a fortress into the cliffs of an unnamed mountain range. Here, he gathered a small host of corrupted men and twisted creatures, remnants of Morgoth's armies, and ruled as a dark lord in miniature. Cirith's stronghold was a place of eternal twilight, where forges burned day and night, crafting weapons for a war that never came. He sensed Sauron's rise and the forging of the Nazgul, but Cirith harbored no loyalty to the upstart Maya. Sauron's ambition was a pale imitation of Morgoth's, and Cirith refused to bow to a lesser power. During the Third Age, he remained isolated, his existence unknown even to Sauron's spies. The Easterlings, who worshipped him as a god of fire, brought him tributes of gold and blood, but Cirith's heart was cold. He cared not for the War of the Ring, for his loyalty was to a master long banished to the void. When the One Ring was destroyed, Cirith felt its unmaking, a sharp pang that extinguished his forge's flames for a single night. Enraged, he lashed out, destroying his own throne in a fit of fury. Yet he did not venture forth. His isolation was his prison, and his pride his chains. Cirith remained in his fortress, a forgotten terror, plotting for a day when Morgoth's shadow might rise again. In the far south, where Herad's deserts gave way to jungles dense with venom and shadow, Morgul, the Ember of Despair, haunted a sunken temple. Unlike his kin, Morgul was not content to sleep or rule. His corruption had twisted him into a being of pure malice, delighting in the suffering of mortals. In the First Age, he had been Morgoth's torturer, breaking the spirits of elves and men with his fiery gaze. After the War of Wrath, he fled to the south, where he carved a temple from obsidian, its halls lined with the bones of his victims. Morgul's existence in the Third Age was one of subtle terror. He did not command armies, but sowed despair among the tribes of Herad. Disguised as a wandering seer, cloaked in smoke and shadow, he whispered lies to chieftains, inciting wars and betrayals. His influence spread like a plague, turning brother against brother, until entire villages burned in his name. Yet, Morgul was cautious. He knew of Sauron's Nazgul and their hunt for the ring, but he avoided their gaze. His power lay in secrecy, and he had no desire to serve another. During the War of the Ring, Morgul sensed the ring's journey, but cared little for its fate. To him, Sauron was a rival, not a master. Instead, he delighted in the chaos of the war, feeding on the despair of Haradrim warriors sent to die in Mordor's armies. When the ring was destroyed, Morgul laughed, a sound like cracking stone. The world's hope was a fleeting thing, and he believed despair would always return. He retreated deeper into his temple, waiting for the next age of darkness. Why, then, did these Balrogs not join Sauron's war? The answer lies in their nature. As mayor, they were beings of immense pride, bound to Morgoth's will. Sauron, though powerful, was their equal, not their master. To serve him would be to diminish themselves. Furthermore, the Balrogs were creatures of destruction, not strategy. Durrance Bane awoke only when disturbed, and its rampage was instinctive, not calculated. Volthor, Cirith, and Morgul, each in their own way, chose isolation over submission, waiting for a sign from Morgoth that never came. The destruction of the One Ring marked the end of their hope. Without Morgoth, their purpose was lost. Volthor's flames dimmed further, his cavern becoming his tomb. Cirith's forges grew cold, his followers scattering into the east. Morgul's temple sank deeper into the jungle, its master a fading whisper. The Balrogs, once lords of fire, were reduced to myths, their time ended not by battle, but by irrelevance.